Hey there, welcome back to the show. Today we're diving into something I think every single one of us can relate to. Those moments when we just lose it over something that, in hindsight, seems pretty small. You know what I mean? You're going about your day feeling fine, and then bam, someone says something or something doesn't go as planned. And suddenly you're either boiling with anger, drowning in anxiety, or just completely shutting down. Sound familiar? Yeah, me too. But here's the thing, those emotional triggers, they're not just random. They are hints for accessing our subconscious beliefs. They're teachers. And today we're going to unpack how shifting from reactivity to curiosity can change the way we deal with these moments and honestly change our lives. Let's start with a big question. Why do we react so intensely to things that logically shouldn't affect us this much? It all comes down to how our brains are wired. Our number one biological priority is survival. That means our brain is constantly scanning for threats, whether that's a physical danger or just something that reminds us of past pain. And when it detects even the hint of a threat, it doesn't wait for us to analyze the situation rationally. That takes too long and you need an answer now. So it flips the emergency switch. But here's the kicker. Sometimes our brain isn't reacting to what's happening now. It's reacting to an old wound that look and sound like what is currently happening. Let's say you have a trigger around feeling abandoned. Maybe as a kid, a parent was emotionally unavailable. Fast forward to adulthood. A friend cancels plans at the last minute, and suddenly you're not just annoyed, you're devastated. It's not just about the canceled plans, it's about the old story your brain is subconsciously replaying. Am I unlovable? Is something wrong with me? Why can't I count on anyone? Your brain is running the old program again, and you think this all has to do with your friend. So, what do we do? How do we interrupt that automatic reaction? The first step is giving your brain time to catch up with your body. That's where the 3-second pause comes in. Before you lash out, shut down, or spiral into overthinking, take a deep breath and count to 3. That tiny gap gives your logical brain time to step in before your emotions take the wheel. And in that pause, ask yourself this question: what would happen if I got curious instead of defensive? Curiosity is everything. It rewires your brain to stop reacting on autopilot and start approaching triggers as opportunities for self awareness. And the more we practice this, the more natural it becomes. One of the biggest traps we fall into when we're triggered is assuming that everything is about us. Someone's short with you must mean they're mad at you. A friend doesn't text back, they must be ignoring you. But here's the truth: most of the time, people's behavior is about them, not you. That person who snapped at you, maybe they're stressed about something else. That friend who didn't reply, maybe they just forgot. Lastly, let's talk about reframing. This is where we take the story our brain automatically tells us and flip it into something more empowering. Let's say you receive feedback at work, and your immediate thought is, I'm being criticized. I must not be good enough. Instead, try reframing it. This is an opportunity for me to grow. Or if someone cancels plans, instead of thinking they don't value me, try, this gives me time to do something else I enjoy. Reframing isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing a perspective that serves you instead of one that sabotages you. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this: your emotional triggers aren't your enemies, they're your guides. Every time you get triggered, it's an invitation to get curious instead of reactive, to pause, to ask better questions, and to rewrite the story in a way that helps you grow. Because when you shift from reactivity to curiosity, you don't just change the way you handle emotions, you change the way your brain is wired. You create new neural connections that you can rely on in the future. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend. And if you have thoughts, questions, or experiences to share, I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious.